G'day folks, first day back, and hey, I thought I left this weather overseas. So I've just come back from 3 weeks in the glorious US at minus 30 degrees, living the dream. Probably 2 highlights of my trip. 1 was watching the birth of my grandson, and 2 was a visit to the Evinrude factory in Milwaukee. Well, mate, what an eye-opener. We watch videos, we get told this, we get shown this, we test these motors, we do everything with these motors, but until you've been to that facility and seen how they're manufactured, what an eye-opener. So, 2 separate lines in the factory. 1 for the G1 and 1 for the G2. Probably one of the biggest eye-openers for me was in the new G2 section of the factory, how they're assembled. They have these little robotic, we'll call them robotic carts, which follow this tape line around the factory. The motor starts on that cart. It moves through the sections where people are doing their part of the componentry building. And bear in mind, a lot of stuff is assembled by a group of people over there. That's assembled, put on a tray, then put on to the robot, fitted up. Some of the little things when you're building something, like it's okay to say, well, every bolt's torqued. We know which bolt, we know what the torque is, and we go do that manually. To keep quality control good, they've got a selection process there where the socket you need lights up. You grab that socket. Once you put that socket on that bolt, it tensions it to the correct weight. It knows what pattern you're doing. It knows if you've got 4 bolts to do, if you've left 1. It tells you this. Little check measures, all computerized, like the Etec itself. The brains are up here in the motor. Well, they're designing, their building quality is designed by those brains too. Another big feature with that robot is that it starts off a bare robot, and that motor goes all the way through the line and is tested while it's still bolted to that robot. They're just building some new testing facility rooms there at present. When we were over there, the first one was just finished, where they're dynoing them and running them while they're still attached to this robot. And then they're coming out of there, and then they're going to get packed. So, and probably a funny thing that I didn't know, that every Evinrude is built to an order. So they're not just running batches of stock. So they're not putting 60 HOs through 20 at a time. If Australia has got an order of 50 motors and they're the next in the batch, those 50 motors are built. And that might mean that a 25 is built, a 75 is beside it, a 150 is beside that, then there's a 30. So the manufacturer, the staff there, they know what they're building when it arrives in front of them.
Just-in-time manufacture, Liz.
Yeah, there's the word for it. Absolutely. You know, I would have thought that they'd just build a batch of 75s this morning, and then in the afternoon we'll do some 90s and we'll have all this stock. Well, there's no stock because it's all been built to orders, and there's enough orders out there to keep that factory running. You know, they were telling us that, you know, they might do 6-10 hour days to keep up with production. And even, you know, we were over there in winter in the worst conditions, and the factory was full scale pumping out. They're all made there. It's not a distribution center. It goes from there to a distribution center and then on shipped. But little quality control ways that they're doing it, they will come down and pick a random motor. So the motor, no one knows the serial number, no one knows which motor. They just come down and say, we're going to take that motor for testing. That motor's taken away, pulled apart, everything's checked on it, and then bang, back, out it goes. They even get to the stage where they box motors, and then they're pulled off and said, we want to check that motor. So they're checking the checker. There's no reason that when we undo a box and pull out a brand new Etec, that there should be anything missing, mismachined. 100% tested. It's a good peace of mind for people like myself who are, I'm staking my reputation on this motor because I have faith in this motor, and I have even greater faith in the motor now by seeing it actually manufactured and looking at the way that they cast things. They do foam casting, so they make a mold, they inject it with the alloy, the foam burns away, and every mold is individual for every product. They're not reusing constant molds, which, as we've seen over the years, you keep on using the same mold, whether you're casting a wheel or you're casting a lower gearbox, it gets, well, you start to see impurities in it, and that's why you won't see an impurity in these. Other big thing was their paint, their corrosion process, anti-corrosion process. No wonder we don't see any corrosion on these. They've got more layers of paints on these than 3 boats put together. So yeah, a real eye-opener. Thanks to BRP, it was the most informative tour I've ever done. My wife was on the tour with me and she absolutely loved it. The factory's, you know, probably a 50-50 mix, male and female workers, everyone with their own task. Just absolutely fantastic. Once again, if you're watching BRP, big thanks from me. Well, the summer all up, we've been hearing about how good Evinrude is. I've been taught, learned everything about it, but now after seeing it, it's boosted me up to have 110% belief in the motor's quality assurance. We all know how well they go, but quality assurance is a big thing in any product you buy today, so well done Evinrude. G'day, Les here, just finishing off another deal. Do you like our YouTube videos? Well, hit the subscribe button. You know that subscribe button there? You'll become part of the family of Caloundra Marine and get given the latest opportunity to watch our YouTube videos as they become available. So get behind us, we get behind you, hit subscribe.